Alrighty, we're back with top fives this week. We all have a couple. Ro, you can kick us off. Ro, what are your top 5 easiest corporate jobs?
At number 5, I've gone IT managers because, to be honest, I don't know really what they do. All I know is that when I worked at a previous company, my IT manager used to play chess all day long. So
Is that the bloke you go to for IT help?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Wait, is that what you mean? Like
that's the one.
Okay.
He just sits there. Okay, so an IT manager, right, from what I understand about this career, is they basically just do nothing until something goes wrong. They're basically just on call 24/7. And then when something goes wrong with the infrastructure or something goes out, then they're called into action. But for like 95% of your job, cruisy.
But I feel like at big places, they're going to be busy all the time.
That's what they want you to think.
Really?
Yeah, dude, it's cruisy as.
Brother, at my place, I've seen this IT guy watch the NBA on the big screens half the time, man. Of course, when you come in, he'll help you with your laptop and whatever may have you. But once you leave, he's looking back at your Lakers versus Mavs.
All right, number 4, I've got customer success manager. So
What is that, bro?
Okay, so this is a slightly more niche thing. It's a sales thing. So when you close a deal, if it's large enough, if the company's big enough, you then toss it over the fence to the customer success manager, and it's their job to kind of just talk to them about how you can implement your software, and you basically just kind of nurture that relationship.
Isn't this just an account manager with extra steps?
No, because the account manager has sales targets. They're there to upsell. The customer success manager, all their job is to just like support them.
Oh, so they're just
Make sure the
relationship
customer is
managers.
successful.
Yeah, correct. Emotionally support them, financially support them if you will. It's a beautiful job. And
I assume these are the ones that take them out to lunches sometimes.
It's
every
all
now and again. Just
But then when the client has problems, surely they come to you then.
yeah, but again,
but then you offload it to the people that can help.
you offload it to
it is a middleman.
engineers. It's honestly, dare I suggest, the perfect career.
Okay. What's number 3?
Number 3, I've got business analysts. So these clowns, right, all they're doing is writing tickets. They don't have to think about, the grunt work. They don't have to think about any strategy or vision. All they do is document the requirements for the developers. That's it. That's their whole job.
Right.
Why do I feel like business analysts do more than that?
Yeah, I feel like don't BAs have different roles wherever like they work, so they could have different remits, really.
Their main remit, though, if you're at a tech company at least, is just putting down the requirements for the developers, and they give them a big fancy title called business analyst, which makes you seem like an absolute big dog.
Do they get paid like a big
They
dog?
get paid like a big dog as well.
Really?
It's a fun job. If you get into it, fair play to you.
Where's the analysis?
What do you mean analysis? There's no analysis.
Well, why are they called business analysts then?
I don't know.
Where's the analyst part of it?
It's just business. It should be called really just business writers because they're just writing stuff. That's
Okay.
it. That's their whole
All
job.
right, play on.
Number 2, I've got my favorite Scrum Master.
Here we go.
Now, this is another beautifully, made up position designed to make your workforce agile and move away from this waterfall style of business. But in reality, okay, what I'm seeing with the Scrum Masters is they wake up, they do their stand-ups, they ask you, how are you going? What do you need to check in? What do you have to do today? They hear that, and then that's it. Off their way.
So wait, what do they do for the other 7 hours and 20 minutes of the day?
Well, to be honest, they're supposed to be planning like
The next sprint,
the next
potentially.
sprint and what we can
So what
work
do they do
on.
for the other 7
Capacity
hours of the day?
planning.
They look at Jira. They look at the velocity of the team. They say,
Okay. Surely
we
you can automate all this stuff.
Of course, yeah. They look at the story point. Like, we can get 20 story points in next sprint. This is what we should do. And then the rest of the week, I've honestly got no idea.
All right. What's number 1, Ro?
Number 1 is a Scrum Master, but when you get promoted from a Scrum Master, the next level up is even more fugazi. It's called an Agile Coach. Now,
What's the difference between a Scrum Master and an Agile Coach?
I'll tell you what, I couldn't tell you. It's just another name, but you just get paid more. And I think you manage the Scrum Masters. It's more an
Also, there's
organizational
another idiot
level.
on top of that.
Yeah.
So you're coaching the Scrum Masters how to Scrum, essentially.
That's literally the job.
So they wrangle all the Scrum Masters.
Yeah.
Anyone could be a
Do
Scrum
what, though?
Master.
Like, what are they going to do? Like, what do you tell the Scrum Masters to do?
You tell them how to run the processes. You tell them how to...
But shouldn't that be the Scrum Master's job to know how to do the processes?
Well, I don't know. There's apparently a manager on top of that coaching the Scrum Masters how to do that.
Are you serious?
Yeah. And
How much do they get paid?
Dude, they get paid like 200 grand. Yeah.
To do essentially nothing.
It is literally a 10-hour work week, if that. It seems like the dream, but the risk is, right? You're the first one to go. Like
You're
all these layoffs,
absolutely the first to let go.
all these layoffs that the banks and all these tech companies are having, mate, Scrum Masters, Agile coaches,
Gotta
bang.
go. Yeah.
But there was a period of like 5 years
Where?
where if you were in that space, Mate, best corporate career you can have.
So you reckon it's done? You can't really have this role anymore.
I don't think so. Because most companies, well, we're going into a recession. I feel
Companies are cluing on that they're a bit useless, I reckon.
yeah. And you don't get Scrum Masters or Agile coaches in actual, real tech. You just get them at legacy companies and they're looking to do transition. It's like consulting. It's like they want to move to a more, faster, agile, more way of working. So they hire all these Agile coaches and Scrum Masters to make it happen.
But now they've been coached.
Yeah,
And now
they've
they don't need
learned,
the coaching anymore.
and they got get rid of them.
Fair enough.
Bro, unfortunately had to duck out, so it's just me and you, Migs. All right, next one. Give me your top 5 office snacks.
Alrighty. Before I get into the top 5, just an honorable mention to pastries, because I feel like not enough offices provide it, so I can't really put it in the top 5. But
True.
if you have it, it's delightful. Right, 5th one, I'm going basic. I'm going stock standard fruit. So I think every company provides a bit of fruit. It's a good little snack to have if you need a little pick me up. But if you're looking at it, you're walking in the kitchen, you see a bit of fruit. It's not really inspiring.
Nah, I'm walking right past it, to be honest.
All
Well,
right.
it depends on what they have.
But the typical is like bananas, apples,
Yeah.
mandarins, maybe.
I'll be honest. During winter, I'm a slut for the mandarins. I'll
This
take
is-
3-4 a day.
It's mandarin winter season.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, maybe I'll get on in winter.
Yeah. Get around it.
All right, 4th one I have is biscuits. Again, biscuits is a wide.
I was going to say.
It's a wide variety. The problem with biscuits and why I can't put it high is most of the time it's those Arnott's biscuits that come in
Agreed.
that pack of 2.
Agree.
And most of the time it's a poo too. I have to dig around for like one that has maybe a cookie or something exciting.
good. What about-
exactly?
Tim Tams.
Tim Tam's a very good shout, but I don't think enough places offer it as a biscuit for me to think when someone says biscuits, I think Tim Tams. I think those sort of ones.
Yeah. Okay.
My mind straight goes to Arnott's. Again, not inspiring, but I think a bit better than fruit.
Agreed.
Alrighty, in 3rd, I have chips. Now we're getting
You're getting interesting now.
interesting. All
What
right,
kind of chips?
we're talking just the multi-pack chips.
Yeah.
Like it depends what company you work at.
I was going to say, what brand are we talking?
Because the companies that don't have a partnership or deal or whatever, they'll just buy a multi-pack of Smith's chips or
Yeah.
Doritos or whatever you can get from the supermarket. But the other companies that have a deal with companies that do their snacks, they might have more exotic ones.
Yeah.
I don't know, Harvest Snaps, for example.
Oh, yeah.
those
yeah.
pop like
Grain waves.
popcorners, grain waves, like those sort of more exciting, enticing ones.
Give me a Red Rock Deli. If a place has a Red Rock Deli, I'm going
You
immediately.
go in Red Rock Deli, honey soy chicken,
I was going to say the sweet
chili.
chili one.
Those you can't go wrong. Again, I feel like not enough companies if you have that, chips could be higher.
Okay. All right. Number 2.
Number 2, I'm going toast.
No.
I'm going
Okay,
toast.
You've lost me here.
Respectfully, it goes to
No.
because it's the variety of the spreads they can give you.
Well, that's what I say. You're not saying toast. You're saying the condiments, the spreads.
What place is giving you bread and a toaster without the spreads?
No, I don't know. Some sad
Name
place.
me one, bro.
Government, probably.
Exactly. So a typical office will have a big, maybe even individual butters, for example.
Yep.
And then in
Delightful.
the jars, you have the individual like jams, Vegemite, Nutella, peanut butter.
Peanut butter.
The variety there is crazy. If you want something sweet, you chuck in the Nutella. If you want a little some, you put some Vegemite potentially, or you
Yeah.
can go jam PB&J, mate.
Yeah. True. That's true. You have options.
Because
there.
you have options. And then if you're a little sicko, you can use the bread for your own purposes. I don't know, make a sandwich or something.
No, I mean, isn't that allowed?
But like, have you ever gone into the office with, I don't know, packed ham and cheese?
No, I
And then
wouldn't.
you
but
just slapped it on office bread.
it's not a bad idea, though.
The versatility, I think, is why it goes to.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, number 1, the big boy. I'm going chocolates.
How many places have chocolates?
A lot
though?
of places
Really?
have chocolates. Like the snack-sized Kit Kats is the main one
I
that
would
most
love
places
that.
have. Tim Tams, am I counting that as a chocolate?
Yeah, you got to count Tim Tams as
Count
chocolate.
Tim Tams in if some place have multi-packs of chocolates. I don't know, like Dairy Milk's favorites.
Yeah.
all this and all that. Chocolates are the first thing to go. So one of the
I
old
agree.
places I worked at had a lot of jars with, as I've said, biscuits, the spreads, teas, like other things, Tim Tams. But my God, I didn't know that they stocked Kit Kats until I went in on Monday one time and saw there were Kit Kats. They're gone by Monday afternoon.
Fair enough. They're hot. I reckon by Monday lunch they're gone.
Exactly, they're gone, but everything else stays. So that's a testament to why I think chocolates are the number 1 office snack.
I agree with that. What about honorable mentions for perhaps like Milo, hot chocolate? Thoughts on those or nah?
I don't really care for the drink side of things, to be
Yeah.
honest, because they're staples. They do the job. And
Fair
I feel like most people buy their drink. Like they buy a coffee, they buy a chai latte, for example, a matcha, I don't know.
One of my favorite things is when you go to the kitchen and someone's perhaps for their team has bought like pastries, like you said earlier, like donuts or whatever,
Yeah.
or like loon croissants.
Yeah.
And it's like leftovers and it's a free for all in the kitchen. That's honestly some of the highlights of my day. You just go ham. Free pastries.
My
Can't go wrong.
highlight, the best part about that is before people tuck in, they suss what it is. They suss whether it's for a specific group or suss if it's free for all.
Usually they leave a little sign, you know. free
But when
for-
there's no sign, it's
Then
funny.
it's- I don't touch it.
you watch it. You watch people walk past eyeing it, but they don't get it yet because they don't know if it's for them yet.
we have a whole Slack channel dedicated to free food around our building. So it'll tell you what level
Vultures.
where you need. Yeah, it's called seagulls.
Oh my gosh.
So if they'll say, all right, guys, you've got free pizza, level 7 kitchen, and you just see people running.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's good. All right. Well, I'll move to you, Senny. Senny, what are your top 5 Sydney corporate food courts?
All right, at number 5, I have the Canteen at Barangaroo.
Shocking at 5th.
You thought it'd be higher.
I thought it'd be much higher.
Really? I
Yeah.
thought they've fallen off massively. I've always said the glory days of the Canteen were pre-COVID, like 2019, 2020. And then COVID decimated them and a lot of the good tenants left. And now there's really only just that Malaysian place that's serviceable.
That is true.
Actually, no,
Whenever
that's a lie. You know what? That Malaysian place is pretty good. I'm sorry,
It's
Ipoh Town.
Ipoh Town's very good, man. Whenever I go to Canteen, to be fair, to your point, that's the only place I think about getting food from.
Exactly. So, and I will say, Georgie Boys used to be good, but the Georgie Boys fall off needs to be studied. Something happened and they fell off massively.
Fix up. But it's still busy, right?
Still busy, but
Yeah.
it's, I think 5 is a good
Past
place.
its peak.
Number 4, I've got Australia Square.
What's that Australia Square, Senny?
Australia Square, they've got my favorite, GYG.
Yep.
They've got my other favorite, Ryan's Bar.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lie. I hate Ryan's Bar, but they have good lunch deals, so I don't mind it. And you can get a beer.
Yep.
They've also got your classics. They got like a Boost. They've got like a kebab shop, a couple of Asian places. They got, what's that other one? There's like a nice cafe there as well. They got options. It's
Options.
decent.
Yeah. And then options you would be familiar with.
Options you'd be familiar with,
All right.
correct.
Play on. Number 3, Senny.
Number 3, I've gone MLC Centre. Classic.
Alright.
Class. Again, you've got a GYG there, but you have fish and chips. There's a KFC there. I can't stress to you how important that is, having a KFC there. Surely at lunch you've been like, what can I go for? You look around, you mosey around, you look at your sushi shops, you look at the fish and chips, you look at, I don't know, fucking schnitz, and you're like, you know what? I want a Zinger burger.
I've never gotten a Zinger
You've
burger for
never?
lunch. No, Senny, I have not.
All right, I guess we're all just lying then, are
Oh,
we?
yeah. There we go.
Number 2, I've gone the Pitt Street Mall Shopping Centre food court, the upstairs one.
So you're talking Westfield,
The Westfield.
not the downstairs,
Not the
dingy
downstairs-
looking one?
Not
Upstairs.
the dingy one,
All
the
right.
upstairs one. The
Gotcha.
upstairs one is number 2 because there's plenty of options, but the only problem is it's a bit expensive.
Yeah, the price point there, if you're in for office and for lunch, I don't think you want to spend too much. It's maybe. It's a maybe.
But they got some nice sit-down restaurants. There's like Ipudu Ramen.
Yep.
They've got Flappies, for example.
Yep, they do.
But then they also have your normal like fast food places. They've got like Zoo Street Greek. Can't
Yep.
go wrong with that. There's another burger place that I forgot the name. That's
I
pretty
know what
good.
you're talking about. There's a burger.
They also have the Chinese place. The
Lock dumplings. No,
there is a
Din Tai
local
Fung?
dumpling. No, the one that in Macquarie Centre where they give you like they just heap on
Fortune
the-
Alley.
There's a Fortune Alley in. There's a Fortune Alley up there, and there's always a line, and it's delightful.
Man, a Fortune Alley would go heavenly at lunch.
It would. It actually would.
But I feel like it'd knock
But
you
you're
out.
knocked out. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're knocked out. And
That's
then,
a good variety of options.
good variety, I will say. And number 1, I've kind of cheated here. Doesn't exist anymore, but Hunter Connection.
Ah,
Number 1. If you wanted a cheap Asian meal for lunch, Hunter Connection. Dude, they had banh mi's for $5. They had like one choice and one rice from like your Chinese or Malaysian for like $7, $7.50.
serious?
Yeah. Dude, Hunter
God.
Connection, you go during lunch, it was so packed, but so good.
I never went.
You never went.
I think I've missed out.
You missed out. So they obviously knocked it down. I think they're making the metro there. The Hunter
Maybe they're
Street
also not making money. $5 banh mi in this economy, mate.
This was back in 2019. So
Even
this is the
still in
heyday.
that economy, that's still cheap.
It was so cheap and so good. So
Wow.
Hunter Connection number 1, always in my heart. Alrighty, second to last one. Migs, what is the top 5 things only Sydney siders would know?
Alrighty, at number 5, we're going with the Fountain Bubble Baths. So we're talking Martin Place.
Martin Place.
And we're talking Hornsby as well.
Oh,
They do- it happens at Hornsby more than you think. The
Okay.
Hornsby Fountain at Westfield, if you know, you know. If you're on Reddit and you subscribe to r/Sydney, every couple of months you're going to see which idiot did this.
I love it.
And it's a photo of the Martin Place fountain just with bubbles all over
Just
it.
Froth City.
So someone empties a whole bubble bath or soap and then it just froths.
I want to know, what time of day do people do it? There must be during the middle of the night or early morning. Because you're surely not middle of the day. You're not standing there pouring detergent into.
No, I don't think it has to be a in secrecy at night sort of thing. First of all, if you do it at night, I feel like it's gone by the day,
True.
right? Because the water keeps cycling. And second of all you have to do is get a little bottle of detergent, just chuck it in and walk away. That's all you have to do.
It's not illegal though, is it?
I feel like it might be because you're like defacing. Are you defacing? Because it damages the fountain.
Does it?
Yeah, because it recycles the water, right? So I think it's not good for the system for
Bit
detergent.
of harmless fun, innit?
Bit of harmless fun, but I feel like it's frowned upon, borderline illegal, but I put that in number 5.
All right.
Number 4, I have gone with a classic. I've gone with the George Street Town Hall KFC.
Classic.
If you are not from Sydney and you walk onto George Street and you look at that KFC, you're thinking, my God, what health codes does this violate?
Well, it depends on what time of. Oh, you mean just in general?
In general, you're looking at it, you're probably spitting at it and saying, I'm never going there again. But come at night, you go to a couple bars, you go to a couple clubs, you have your night out, you come back to Town Hall at 3 a.m., you look at KFC and it looks like the heavens doors have opened. The smell, the waft from the street of fried chicken at 3 a.m. is heavenly.
I don't know how they must have like a fan or something that just pumps it out.
Because they know
into
that's
the
how they get
street.
half their business, man. Because that's how I've bought KFC from there half the time. I'm walking home to take the 607 bus home, and all of a sudden I smell the KFC. I'm like, it'd be rude not to at this point.
I'll tell you what, though, there is no amount of money in the world you could pay me to work at that KFC.
Yeah.
Just I reckon the absolute abuse you would cop on a Friday, Saturday night.
And even not direct abuse, just the shenanigans that go on.
It's like just watching people. Dude, we saw someone get, was it stabbed or?
We walked out of the KFC.
Yes.
We heard a ruckus. We thought nothing of it. And the next day we read a headline that someone got stabbed in that KFC.
Literally like maybe 5 minutes or 2 minutes after we left. So the
Yeah.
things you would see there as well. Is,
And you're getting paid the same amount as a local KFC worker.
Yeah.
So what's the point of me going there and dealing with all this?
nah, not worth it.
But the food, if you are drunken at night, it is
Delightful.
God's nectar. It is absolutely delightful. So if you know, you know. I admit this is a very niche one, but at number 3, I'm going the Top Ride car park. I have lived in Sydney for 27 years. I still don't know how to navigate that car park.
I was going to say, dude, how does this make your top 5, dude? I hate this car park.
But that's what I mean. If you don't know about it, you just think, oh, it's another, I'm going to the shops, another car park. Let me just navigate there and go.
Whoever designed that car park is a sick man or a sick woman, sick individual.
There's like 5 entrances. There's like 2 ramps on each side of the street that go up and down.
Dude, it's...
And then like I have never parked and entered the shops knowing where I am.
Dude, it's actually a labyrinth, and there's no rhyme or reason to the car park. And to be honest, even the whole shopping center in itself, Top Ride, is also designed in the most moronic way possible.
Yeah, there's like a big escalator section, but then
Yeah.
there's also an outside.
Yeah,
I don't get it. I've been to Top Ride a lot, and I still don't know how to navigate this car park.
I try and avoid Top Ride like the play. If someone tells me we're going to Top Ride, I'll park outside. It's not worth it.
Yeah, but that's why it makes the top 3, just because like imagine you didn't know about Top Ride car park.
Yeah,
and then I
fair.
tell you, Sen, let's go Top Ride.
Just this,
Put in Google Maps, and you're like, where do I park? What do I do?
The pure fuckery of it. Fair enough.
Exactly.
Number 2.
In number 2, again, a very niche one. I have gone the Ashfield escalators.
I'm not familiar with this one.
All right. So this one is for the hectics. So the law is in the Ashfield Mall, there's an escalator outside Liverpool Road, and it has been broken or in progress of fixing for like 10, 15 years.
Oh, really?
So the residents have never seen it working.
That's crazy.
Until like last year or the year before, I think it was working again, and then it was broken in a week. So there was this set of escalators in Ashfield that is just permanently broken.
I kind of want to go see this now, make
Exactly.
a pilgrimage of it.
Exactly. So that's what I've heard. I want to see it as well, but it is if you know, you know situation.
Okay. Number 1.
Number 1, the quintessential thing you would know if you're a Sydney sider is the Sydney chicken line. Now, you might be thinking, what the hell is the chicken line? If you're not from here, you definitely don't know what the chicken line is. But as the fable goes, you can divide Sydney culturally by where there is a Red Rooster and where there is a like a El Jana Frango situation. You can split up El Jana, Frango's, Chargrill Charlie's is now on the line,
Yeah.
and Red Rooster.
Is it culturally or is it class-wise?
I don't want to, divulge into that, but it can be a bit of class, a bit of culture. But if you draw that line, you see, right now it's blurred.
I was going to say,
They're
blurred.
starting to blur it, which might be indicative of, modern day culture and multiculturalism and all of that.
Which were for or against? No, we're for.
we
We're
are
for,
100% for. But I would give it its prime maybe
I reckon
2-3 years, even 2-3 years ago.
I first heard of the chicken line maybe when we were in high school, late high school, so 2014, 15.
That one you just had to divide with the Red Rooster.
It was just the Red Rooster line was what it was called back then. And it was essentially you could draw a line in Sydney by plotting out where all the Red Roosters were. And anything west of that line happened to be Western Sydney. And all the affluent, nicer suburbs were east of
Yeah.
the Red Rooster. Essentially what they were saying is These nice suburbs don't get Red Rooster.
Yeah. Whereas now you can divide it into 4 parts. You got the Char Grill Charlies, which is eastern suburbs, upper class, whatever. Then you got
North Shore as well.
North Shore, and then you got Eljana, which is sort of southwest / west-ish.
I will say Eljana's the one. I reckon they're popping up everywhere.
Yeah, now,
There's one in Crow's Nest now, and there's one I think somewhere in
Newtown.
Newtown. So
nowadays you can't use the Eljana.
I reckon they're the exception to the rule.
But give it 2-3 years ago, it was just south of Parramatta, like Parramatta Road, south of Parramatta River.
Yeah,
that was Eljana territory.
Yeah.
And then you got Frangos. That's
Frangos as well. They've also kind of scattergun approach.
But the main one was, Red Rooster.
Red Rooster.
That's where you start to capture the west, the northwest.
Correct.
Penrith onwards, that sort of place where people may or may not look down upon, but that's the chicken line. You can divide Sydney into its cultures and its classes by where the chickens are. All right, that's the top 5 Sydney side of things. Senny, we're going to the last one. Sen, what are your top 5 sneakiest speed cameras in Sydney?
All right, at number 5, this one isn't sneaky as such, but it's on the most annoying road in Sydney. I've gone the one at Parramatta Road in Auburn, just past the Hungry Jacks.
Yes.
That one, you know it's there, but it's just in that section of Parramatta Road where it's always banked up with traffic. And sometimes, the traffic, there's always a bit of a gap. So you maybe speed up to try and catch up to the cars in front of you, but then you slow down because you're like, oh shit, it's 60 here.
Yeah.
I haven't been caught out by it, but I always forget it until I'm there. And then I remember like maybe 100 meters away from it.
And the thing about Parramatta Road, it's like feels like an open road, feels like a highway, feels like you can just go.
Yeah.
So especially if you're like late at night where there's not too much traffic, you got to eyes up. You got to remember that it's there or else you're getting caught.
All right. At number 4, I've gone for a niche one.
Sure.
This one is Old Northern Road in front of St. Bernadette's Primary School.
This is niche. But to your last point, I forget about this a lot of the time.
So this one is in Castle Hill for the Hectics. And the reason why I bring this one up is one of our dear friends has been caught not once, but twice by the same camera going both ways. So if that doesn't tell you how sneaky this camera is, and the thing is, it's right in front of a school. So there's a school zone. And so it says 40. So obviously during the school times, it's 40 kilometers. There's no other speed signs there. So you actually don't know what the speed...
Yeah, is it a 50? Is it a 60?
I've never known if it was a 50 or 60. So even like it can be midnight and I could be driving past it and I'll go 40. I'll just go the school zone speed.
Yeah. If my memory serves me correct, our friend got done on the same drive.
Same drive?
So he went somewhere, got caught, did his business there, and then when he was coming home, he got caught again on the way back. So that paints a picture. But what I hate about these ones, especially in the school zone, is school holidays.
Yeah.
Is it on? Is it not on? How does the camera know that school is off right now?
Yeah, that's always thrown me. Does it know? It does, right?
I feel like they program it to know.
it.
But then what if, Monday? Like school's back on Tuesday. Do they know Monday is a day?
Well, I've always wondered, how school comes back, but then the first day is like the staff developmental day. Does that count as a...
Who knows?
I don't know.
That's the problem. So you're going 40 when you could realistically be going 60.
Yeah, so that's a sneaky one. Number 3, I've got the Eastern Distributor at Darlinghurst. Mate, driving in the city is already stressful as it is. Why are they chucking speed cameras in there? Dude, they've got like bus lane cameras, speed cameras. They randomly close lanes. There's always traffic. It's stress city, and this honestly does not help.
If I'm remembering this speed camera correctly, this is the only speed camera I've been done by.
Seriously?
Yes, I've only been caught once, and I believe it was here, and it was late at night, because that's a problem with the ones in the city, especially tunnels. When it's late at night, there's no cars, it feels like you can go.
Yeah.
It feels like you're in the M7 and you can go 110. I wasn't going 110, right? But like, you don't realize the speed limit for some of these places is like 50 or 60.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's the other thing about the city. Everything's 50, I think.
Yeah, but then if you're going at midnight, open roads, it seems like a 70, 80 sort of road. That's how I got done. So I can vouch for this one.
All right. Number 2, I've got the Rozelle Interchange speed camera. So I think, was it last year or maybe the year before, they've recently opened up that Rozelle Interchange.
Yeah.
And for the first 2 months, no one used it because they thought it was a toll road.
Yeah.
And then they finally got people to use it. And apparently in the first month, they had thousands of people who got done for speeding. But what they did was, instead of fining them, they sent everyone warning letters.
Right.
They're like, we're in the testing period of the speeding camera. You got caught. This is a warning. Next time you'll get fined.
Did I get one of those? I don't know.
I know one of our friends got one of them. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you lucky bastard. Like, because they were doing like maybe 20 over or something.
Oh, well, that shouldn't be a warning.
That should immediately be a fine for
If
me.
you're 5 over, warning. 20 over, you should go on regardless.
But I think, dude, new tunnel, man, don't put a speed camera in there. At
Yeah.
least let people use it first and then chuck a speed camera in there.
And the interchange is so confusing.
It is.
I was driving the other day. I missed my turn because I didn't know how to get like into the interchange. I think coming from the city,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
the lanes don't make sense. So if people are struggling, don't put a speed camera.
Yeah.
Come on.
And then number one, the one that I know most people will agree with me is the M4 tunnel speed camera. I'll put
Yes.
my hand up. I got done by it recently.
Oh dear.
Driving my dad's car. So he got a letter. I got home one day. He pulls up a letter. He's like, you got fined. And I looked at it. It's like, it's your number plate. He's like, but you were driving that day. And I'm like, fair play. So,
He's done you there.
so I'll be fighting that one deep into 2025, I feel. But that one, I know multiple people have been done. Apparently what they do is it's a variable speed limit in the stupid tunnel.
In the tunnel.
So it's 80, but then times it can go down to 60, it can go down to 40. So I believe I got done doing 69 in the tunnel, but it was 80. So what it was a speed variable, came down to 60. I didn't see it, and then I got done.
Sneaky. If we're talking sneaky, that is the top one.
That is 100%.
The M4 itself, though, just honorable mention, is a average speed camera. You know
What?
that? That's how they do it on the M4. It's average
Which
speed.
part of the M4?
The whole M4. There's no
You-
speed cameras, but allegedly, I've never heard anyone
Brother,
get caught.
I can tell you there's a speed camera. I got done by it.
No, you're talking about the tunnel.
The tunnel, yeah,
I'm talking
yeah.
about the open
Oh, the
roads.
open section,
Parallel
yeah,
to
yeah.
Parramatta Road. Like
Yeah,
when
yeah,
you're going
yeah.
from, I don't know, James Roos Drive, to use a very specific example,
Yeah.
to the tunnel.
Yeah.
There's signs that say average speed camera.
Oh, I've seen those. I don't know if I think that there's just to scare people.
Yeah, this is not legal advice, right? Don't speed, but I've never heard anyone get caught, to your point. But that's what they allege.
I have seen that.
And I can say it kind of works. I don't see anyone gunning it down the M4.
Oh, I've seen multiple people, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. How would you get a sign? Would you get a fine for that? You averaged more than.
What I've heard is it gets the time where you entered and it figures out where you exited at that time and then just if it took
speed
you-
distance time triangle.
exactly, they use the formula. Exactly. And that's how they figure it out. But again, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know if that's true or not.
We drove down to Melbourne for the F1 last weekend, and yeah, there's a stretch of the Hume Highway which has the average speed. But again, you just see people gunning it at it's like meant to be 110, but people are going 120, 130.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I don't know. Maybe it's just as a deterrent.
Yeah, last aside, this reminds me of Japan. When the motorway said, what was it? It was like 70 or something.
Okay, so we had to drive from some little town outside of Mount Fuji we were driving from Mount Fuji, that area, to some little town where they had the Shinkansen to get on the train to go to our next place. We cut it very fine, and we maybe had to get from A to B, which was maybe a 50-minute drive, and we had to get there in 45 minutes for our train.
Yeah.
So we were driving on the highway, and I was doing the speed limit, which was, let's be honest, it was silly. It was like 90 or 100.
It was less than that.
It was
like
something
70 or 80 on like a M7 style motorway.
Where we would have it at 110, they had it 70 or 80.
Yeah.
And I was driving and I was getting antsy. And I said to Miguel, can you please look up the Japanese law and find out what's the fastest I can drive without getting fined? And you looked it up, and it was apparently you can go up to 40 kilometers over the speed limit and not get fined. So obviously I just put in cruise control, chucked it up to 110, and away we went.
That was crazy, man. That was actually crazy because I read it and yeah, it was saying like you can't get, the cameras won't detect you or something like that.
something like
you can't get pulled over legally unless you are 40 over. All right. Well, then the suggestion at this point, plus minus 40.
over here in Sydney. Your car's getting impounded. You've got a court date. You're getting chucked in jail. That's
Imagine
insane.
going 80 in a 40 school zone. That's the type of vibe.
Well, that's like one of our soccer friends who got done on the Anzac Bridge, which is normally 80. And then he was going 80, but instead of being 80 that day, they were doing night roadwork. So the speed became 40.
Roadwork 40, yep.
So he got stopped. He got done by like a roadside speed, like a mobile speed camera. They pulled him aside and they forced someone else to come. Like they took his car and someone else had to come drive all the way out to Roselle or wherever it was.
At like
pick
1
him up.
a.m. or
At
something.
1 a.m.
What a stitch up.
Anyway, those are our top fives. Let us know if you agree.